Adam, Manchester United 1, Copenhagen 0. We've managed to get through to the next round of the Europa League, the semi-finals, tournament football, knockout football. So, you know, all that matters is the result, but we did make hard work of it, especially in the first half. Just couldn't finish our chances then. The Copenhagen keeper was absolutely out of this world. And extra time. But I don't know, what did you make of that performance? And obviously, most importantly, the result.
Well, Romero didn't have a save to make. Their keeper had 13 saves in total. Yeah, you can say extra time added some of that to it. But 35 degrees heat, long season, and it looks like that type of game. It looked like a pre-season game. It was just coming back in a heat on some far eastern tour somewhere, didn't it? That's what it looked like in the first half, especially. But we should have just put our foot down earlier on, mate, and just gone and got this game to bed early on for me. But we just didn't. We just looked lethargic in the first half. Looked like we were trying to find our feet again. And then, you know what? It was always risky, even though Copenhagen really did not threaten us at all. I mean, I can't remember Romero having a save to make. A couple of good blocks from Wan-Bissaka. A couple of little skillful moments from their players in the second half. But other than that, they were garbage, mate. We should have put them to bed earlier. But again, like United always do, we always leave it till last. And we always make it hard for ourselves. And it is going to be hard work now, mate, because we look dead at the end of that game. And coming up against a team like probably, I'm going to go with Seville. I think they'll beat Wolves. That's going to be a nightmare game for us, mate. I'd rather play Inter Milan in the semi-final than Seville.
Would you? Well, where did you stand with Wolves or Seville? Which one? Saeed said he would prefer Wolves as well.
Yeah, I'd take Wolves over Seville. I just feel like this is their tournament, isn't it? No matter what happens with Seville, they always find a way. And you know what? One team we know we've struggled against, but they've struggled against us in Wolves as well, haven't they? So
yeah, I mean, it's been just like a cancellations, cancelled each other out every time we played them.
Yeah, we do. It's like we don't know. There's not many goals in the games when we play them ever. There's barely 3 at most every time we play the horrible games.
But I see what you're saying about the Sevilla situation. We only got to look to when we had them in the Champions League with under Joe saying what happened there. But look, we'll see what happens there. The main thing is that we're through to the next round. And you know, I think you're right, though. In terms of performances, though, were there too many players just not at it, making individual mistakes? Or was it just a case of actually they just couldn't finish today? Because if you go off that second half, it should have been comfortably 3-0, maybe 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, I said 3-0, mate. And you know what I mean? The post, everything we was hitting keeper was saving. Martial's, top bins, Bruno's. Mason Greenwood hitting the post, goals disallowed. Mate, it should have been 3 or 4-0. I said 3-0 at the start of the game. That's what it should have been by 90 minutes. But it was one of them games. But no one was really standing out in terms of performance-wise. It was generally bad. I think Rashford just looked burnt out down the wing. Martial didn't get into the game until late on.
For a second, Adam. I mean, burnt out is definitely a word that I would use to describe like how he was, especially towards the end. But I was saying that I just feel like he's playing within himself, like trying to stop, maybe look to play someone in, or just not really being greedy or at it. Like when I say greedy, I mean greedy in the right way. Is that harsh, do you think? Or do you think that he's just trying to get himself into form, trying to get some consistency? Or do you think he's having a bit of a tough time?
No, he's just having one of them spells anywhere. It's not going quite right for him. You can still see moments in the game where you're thinking, yeah, there's the old Rashford when he just controls the ball dead, pings it across the pitch, and then his movement, and he's in and around there. His finishing just doesn't look sharp enough at the moment, but it's no concern, man. We know what he's got, and we know he probably will come back to form, but it's all about having other players around him as well. And when one player is bad, usually we would start to struggle because we always relied on 1 or 2 players in the past. But now we've got quite a few decent players. I thought Pogba was decent tonight.
He was, yeah.
And Bruno in the second half turned it on again for us and was creating everything. My main concern is the width. When we do really need to change things up and have a plan B, the width wasn't there. Rashford always wants to come inside. And, you know, he's dangerous when he does that. But when teams start figuring it out, then it's going to be harder for him. And maybe that's a frustration in his game. Martial is getting all the plaudits at the moment. Maybe it is sort of playing on his mind a little bit, and he's not getting as much as the plaudits as what he used to. But I just feel like he needs to concentrate on his own game, do the basics as what he was doing before down that left-hand side, and it will come back, no problem. It's like today, Martial wasn't in the game, but he had the right temperament And then in the last 20 minutes, my God, we've seen the world-class show from Martial.
Well, when he started turning it on, no one could.
That's
no
what
one
you
could
want. It's like a perfect number 9 performance, mate. That's what Martial was tonight. Because not in the game, feeding off scraps, nothing was coming right for the midfielders, the wingers, the fullbacks weren't getting anything to him. And then when you need him, just switches it on at that moment. And that's what you need from your number 9. That was the difference today. Second half, the ball stuck to him. And when we needed that moment of class, if it weren't for the keeper, Martial could have had an hat-trick. Green would have had 2. Rashford probably would have had 1. Bruno could have had 2, mate. Everyone could have filled the boots if it weren't for the keeper, mate. So you have to look at it like that. I mean, I've been critical of us not putting the game to bed early in my own video, but you got to look at all the facts. I did say it at the start, 35 degrees heat at the end of a long season, and it's just looking like that at the moment. And the players, the sharpness just isn't there as much, but they've still got enough to keep going, mate, and we're just dragging ourselves through these games, and we've got enough players in that team to get us over the line. It's just my only fear going forward now is that fitness. There's going to be one moment where like it caught up with us against Chelsea, and when someone like a Seville comes along, a team of quality who can keep the ball at will, like all Spanish teams, it may come back and bite us on the arse. But you know what? When we're in all these competitions, we've got to get used to it. We've got to find a way.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Wolves do against Seville, and if Seville do beat them.
I think it'd be a good game.
It'd be a great game to watch, knowing that we're ready in the semi-final. On Solskjaer today, what did you make of his game management? I mean, Fred started the game instead of Matic, which raised some eyebrows. Maguire started instead of Lindelof. Bailly started instead of Lindelof, only to be replaced for Lindelof, and Fred to only be replaced for Matic. It was almost like he kind of, when he made the changes, the first 2 changes, it was to go back to what
it was. Just, a
bit bizarre. When I thought Fred was actually having a good game, he made one big mistake that made them be in on goal, where Bissaka came back and then Bailly got done. Then Maguire made a good block, but other than that, I thought Fred had a decent game. And Bailly was doing okay as well. I thought the ref was penalising him a bit just for showing a bit of strength.
I agree.
What did you make of Ollie's game management and those changes in the starting lineup?
Totally with you on them subs, mate. It's like you're not really rolling the dice there, Ollie, are you, mate?
Did you not trust Eric Bailly with the yellow card? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You only have to look in Eric Bailly's eyes and start to worry, don't you? But no, that you could see that probably was a reason for that substitution. That was probably more. But Matic for Fred, it's like, oh God, man, it's like, come on, just show a bit of like, change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Even if you brought like a Rashford off for Igalo and maybe try something up with 2 in the middle, change it up or something, but stuck to it. But in the end, it ended up working, didn't it? So in terms of his,
when he come on as well,
I think his extra time substitutions made a difference.
Yes,
I'll give Ollie that definitely, because the freshness that Mata brought. Even though he's not quick, if you coming up against the team at the end of the season, second half of extra time, you'd expect even Mata to find a bit of space. But you know what? Mata's one of them, innit? He's not a player to start a game for us, but when you want to throw a ball to someone late on in a game when you need something, you know what? He can do something with it, and that's the difference with Mata. For me, I just feel like his overall game plan sort of was reliant on plan A. And it just took a while to get it over the line, mate. That's what it was with Ollie today. And what can we say, mate? We're in the semi-finals. At the end of the day,
exactly.
We criticise it all we want.
You take whatever football you get, and it will be. It's going to be tough, regardless. It's tough couple of games coming up, regardless of who it is. As we saw with Copenhagen, probably thought we'd push them aside, but they were very strong in defence. They were organised. They bodies on the line, and they made it hard work for us, even though we were the better team. Who's your man of the match before you go?
I'm going to give it to Bruno. Just inspirational again. Second half turned it on, and it's Martial's running a close second for me. And Martial didn't do much until the last 20 minutes. But they're the moments when you need key players. That's how I'm looking at it, because everyone was generally sort of average, but then you just want someone to step up, and he never lets us down. Big moments. I give it to Bruno today.
Cool. I don't see it. Player ratings, bro.
I love it.